1 second. Sorry, just take a second. Got my navigation bar that sits right where I need to click something. It's the craziest thing. All right, so welcome everybody to NewAge Live. Meredith, give me a thumbs up if you can see the screen. Awesome. My name is Rick Redford. I am your host for tonight. And why isn't this moving? Sorry, everybody. I'm trying to figure this out as I go. Okay. It is great to be with you tonight. Excited to be the host, as I am each week. Tonight's going to be a little bit different for a couple of reasons. And I will explain. I'm going to turn my blinds up so I'm not blinded, literally. That's probably better. So tonight's going to be a little bit different for a couple of reasons. Number one, we've got our usual 2 transformation stories, which I'm really excited about. They're diverse, but they're awesome, both of them. And then we have Mark Wilson, who's our company president, that's going to be on, and excited to have him be a speaker. He's got a guest that he's going to bring on the call tonight, someone who you haven't met. If you're a member of the Partners Council, then you have, but if not, he is our Chief Information Officer. So excited to have him come on and kind of give everybody an update. And because of some of the kind of, I would say, confusion in the systems, we're actually pushing this week's recognition to be a double recognition next week. So that's some of the differences tonight. But one of the things I wanted to kind of give you a heads up on. Some of you had called me about this, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to come on the call and I'm just going to share. So I can't see everybody, and I don't mean raise your hand like on the system, but maybe type in the chat if you have received a letter saying congratulations, you have received your commission and it came from Marinda. Just type in the chat if that's you. Give you a chance to do that. Okay. And people called in like, what is going on? What's happening? So I wanted to kind of suggest something to you. So we, as you know, we converged the databases, we converged the systems. And as a result of that, we are using, and we are built now on a much more robust platform that was previously known as Marinda or Noni by NewAge. And their merchant processor, in order to not miss processing, is still titled Marinda. And so it's the system generated email that went out. We never send out emails saying, congratulations, you have commission in your account, but they did. And so as a result of that, as we brought, call it Marinda and RX together into one system, that's why if you were previously with the RX team, you got that email and a lot of you are going, what is going on? Are we now Marinda and so on? The answer is no. We're NewAge, as you can see on our graphics. And you may see commissions, payment in the name of Marinda. You might see packaging, any one of the 3 companies that we have that we still have packaging for, which is, when I say packaging, I mean the bigger boxes that you package your orders in. It could be a Marinda, a Noni branded box, it could be an RX branded box, or it could be a Zenoa branded box, which are all key brands within the NewAge now. And I want you all to just kind of, that's the way things are going to be during a transition. And then ultimately everything's going to be NewAge. And that's all part of this convergence. So I wanted to explain that just because I know there's been a little bit of like what's happening, and I just wanted to explain it so there wasn't that question. So let's get on with the show. The app is coming, and I know we said today, and it could still be tonight, but there are so many names and email addresses and actual accounts within the US system. We're just getting on top of that. So some of the countries, and I will tell you this, if you had previously logged into this app when it was the phase 1 of NewAge Share app, then you probably still can log in now and you will see all of the onboarding videos, you'll see everything. If you didn't previously log in, there's a chance you can't log in now. But when we go live, I will send out an announcement. We'll put it on social media. It'll look just like this. And we'll say, phase 2 live now. but I was hoping it would be tonight, and it's not as of right this minute. So I'm hoping that's going to be an announcement by the end of the call. If not, then hopefully tomorrow. So and many of you came back and said, the loyalty shopping is not working properly. Would you be willing to extend the Purity white water bottle and filter into August? And my answer was absolutely. So that loyalty shopping special has been extended through the end of August, as well as the new one that started yesterday, which is Optimal M and Optimal V. And you know that this only goes on loyalty shopping maybe once a year. So if you want to stock up on your optimals, this is the time to do it. Also, Wellness Wednesday, this Wednesday, Deanna Latson, balancing hormones, anti-aging, and immune support. Raise your hand if you want to learn about anti-aging. Meredith, that's not even funny. But some of us need it. Anyway, the following week is going to be Dr. Ginger. I ran out of something funny to say. I'm sorry. I thought something funny and then I couldn't say it. All right. And Wellness Wednesday is really one of my favorite calls. It's because we have someone that's focusing on a specific message, a specific product, and that has been one of our most widely attended call. So, as I said earlier on in the call, if you came in later in this and didn't hear the introduction, this week is a little bit different. We're combining this week's title advancements and recognition into two, like the old double mint commercial. Next week is double the fun, double the recognition. But there were some challenges. I didn't want to miss anybody. And so there were some challenges pulling that report. And I just said, you know what? The worst thing we could do is name half the names and not name the other half. So I just said, we'll double it next week. We'll promote it heavily. So if you did have a title of advancements this week, please accept my personal apology. You will be recognized next week. Please come on next week with all of your family and friends, and call me personally and swear at me if you want to after this. So we have two transformation stories tonight. I'm excited about both of them for different reasons. They're both vice presidents. And the first individual, I got to know her. It was really funny because I'm kind of one of those bold people that say, I want to come to your hometown and do a meeting. And she's like, we don't have a big enough group yet. I said, I don't care. I'm coming. And I said, because I believe in you as a leader. Do you remember that, Meredith? So it really is one of those situations where sometimes it's better just to take that leap. And she and her team built a meeting pretty well. So please welcome Vice President and good friend, Meredith Benka from Spokane. Hey, Meredith.
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me okay?
I can see you. You look fantastic. How are you?
Awesome, thanks. Yeah, it's a hot and smoky night in Spokane. I know so many of us are dealing with fires up here in the Northwest in our greater Canadian team, but thanks for having me tonight. And when Rick asked me, gosh, maybe last week at some point, hey, would you come on to the corporate call and talk a little bit about your transformation? I said, yeah, of course, I'd be happy to come on and talk, but would it be okay with you, instead of talking about my health transformation, which I've definitely had, I've definitely had a transformation thanks to the amazing NewAge and RX products with my health. I've also had an amazing, transformation with my skin. I originally came to this opportunity through the NewCerity team. So go NewCerity, all of you that are here from that original tribe. But I wanted to talk tonight a little bit about a larger transformation. Because yes, my body has changed. Yes, my health has changed. Yes, my skin has changed. But I think the biggest thing that's changed for me in the 6 years that I've been a part of this opportunity is honestly me. And I think, if you would have met me 6 years ago, I so specifically remember the woman who was mentoring me at the time saying, you're doing great, but I think that you and your team are ready for some personal development. And I was like, excuse me, personal development? Like, we're growing. We're doing great. We're making money. We're getting paid. We're building a business. What do you mean I need personal development? Like, that was entirely too woo for me. And I just remember saying, no, we don't need that. We don't need that. And I had just, wound down a corporate career. I had 2 young children. My husband is an entrepreneur, owns his own business. Life was great. And the last thing that I thought that I needed was personal development. And boy, I'll tell you what, I was so wrong. I was so incredibly wrong. And I look back at the last 6 years and I think to myself, how much a better person I am because of the experiences that I've had through this organization, because of the relationship I have with Rick, with Debbie Schneider, with Brenda Thompson, with my team, with people who really have literally moved into my life to help me become a better person. And that has in turn allowed me to move into other people's lives and allow them to become a better person. And so as I thought about, this whole transformation that I've had and what I wanted to share tonight, the thing that kept coming to my mind, I was actually on a flight home from Kansas over the weekend. Go Kansas, if you're from Kansas. And I thought, the thing that really sticks out to me is wherever you are in your business, you look to the person who has achieved the thing that you want, who has reached the rank or the pay or the recognition or whatever it is that you're striving for. And you have a choice. You can either look at that and you can say, wow, that happened for them, but it's never going to happen for me. Or you can look at that and you can say, you know what? Success leaves clues. And I decided a long time ago to stop looking at somebody else's success as something that couldn't happen for me, but looking at somebody else's success as a sign that it was possible for me. And I want everyone to think about the person that they are admiring. And maybe that person's on the call tonight. Maybe you don't even know them, but their success exists so that you can see what's possible for you. And so success leaves clues, right? It leaves clues. And the 3 biggest clues that I'm concentrating on right now are, number 1, my vision. What is it? Can I articulate it? How big is it? And am I sharing it with people regularly? New people join our team, new people join our organization, and they say, oh my gosh, I don't know what to say. I haven't had a transformation yet, or I'm not as good as you, or whatever. It's like, you know what? No, share your vision for what you believe is possible in your life, because that's what is contagious. People are looking for someone to follow. They're looking for something to have hope in, especially right now. The last 18 months, they've been tough. They've been tough for a lot of people. So people are looking for hope, and you can be that hope. And then the next thing that I said to myself, what's the next clue that I look at all these leaders, in each of the companies that have joined NewAge and RX, first with Nucerity, then with the Limu team, now with the Noni team. What are these leaders that are having success? What do they all have in common? And could they be a more diverse group of people? Talk about diversity. It's amazing. But you know what they all are? They're freaking excited. They are excited. You want to be around them. You hear it in their voice. You see it in their eyes. You feel it when they make a post, right? That vision combined with excitement, like you cannot top that. But then sometimes we get a little confused. Over these last 6 years, like I've been confused at times. Well, how should I build my business? Do I build it this way or do I build it that way? Should I go to events or should I do social media? Should I have paid advertising? Should I try to host in-person information meetings? Oh, shoot, I can't do that anymore because now it's COVID. So now what do? I understand what this business is, but I'm not sure how to share it. And the final thing that I think has been my latest breakthrough is that you need to take action. Rick taught me a couple of years ago, be consistent and be persistent with whatever action you take. But the action you take has to be 100% in alignment with the values that you hold as a person. So not everybody's going to build their business the same way. And you know what? To that, I say, fantastic. That means that we have an opportunity to do this the way that sits right with us in our hearts, in our minds, in our souls, with our values. But together as a larger team, we have the opportunity absolutely for greatness. So, it's just been such a crazy ride for me. I cannot even explain to you the how different I am. I'm just a better human because of this organization. I've been able to manifest things in my life that I never honestly would have thought possible. but it's all due to this. I'm excited about the future. I trust our leadership, and I just cannot wait to see what the future holds for all of us.
Meredith, thank you so much. And I'm going to put a little plug in. If you're ever in Spokane, she and her husband have like the coolest barbershop ever. So what's the name of it?
It's called the Brickyard Barbershop. Yeah, if you ever want to know how to run a barbershop, just ask my husband.
Meredith, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on tonight. Really, really appreciate you setting the tone tonight.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, of course. All right, next up, and I'm actually going to shift things up. I apologize, Craig, but Mark needs to jump off to another call after ours. And so I told him I would let him go next, and he's my boss. So I am going to follow his lead and let him do that. But please welcome our company president, Mr. Mark Wilson. And he has a special guest with him too. So Mark, go ahead.
Hey, everybody. Blake, are you there with us?
He is.
I am, Mark.
All right, we have Blake. Okay. Those of you that don't know, this is Blake Herringer, and Blake is our CIO. And if there's ever a job that receives all the criticism and none of the praise, rarely, right? It's IT, because you're always the one that everybody comes and says, this is simple, just hurry and make change and everything should be fine. And you get hit from every direction and then some. And if anything ever goes wrong, it's either operations or IT. One of those two is to blame. And so, you know, I think in sales, we've always kind of learned that you got to have a good scapegoat, right? And these guys take it all the time. But the reason I want to introduce you is Blake and I were talking today, and Blake put together a list of kind of the reasons why. And this is one of those situations where we're your partners. And I know sometimes you say, well, you know, we want to be hyped up and excited and all of that. That's an important part of sales. But the other part is, if we're truly your partners, you need to understand why we're doing crazy things sometimes. And, you know, I have to tell you, the last 2 weeks, I know some of you have been through some bumpy times, and we understand that. And it's probably because usually it's going so smooth with the system, you don't realize sometimes you take for granted certain things there. And it's no one's blame. But in business, there are times when you have to make major leaps or major advances in your infrastructure, in the things that you're doing. And so just facetiously, I want to be really, you know, frank here. We did not come up with a plan to say, what can we do to make your life all miserable from mid-July through the next several weeks? Okay. What can we do to have IT not sleep at night? What can we do to have all of us be on call day and night? That is not our intention, nor was it. Now, we all knew and prepared for this because we knew we were doing something that has never been done before. And so, Blake, just for fun, I'm going to kind of go back and forth a little bit here. Would you start kind of reading off some of your list? Because this is the things that people have asked me, why did you do this? Okay. I've even heard some kind of hurtful things where people are like, well, you guys are a bunch of corporate wankers that you're just in there in your ivory tower and deciding you know what you're going to do, or it must have all been for acquisitions, or it must have all been, you know, you've forgotten us in the field. And I'm just like, holy, you really, those of you that have known me for 10 years, you really believe that? That saddens me a little bit. And I know most of you don't, but if you're hearing this, this is where we all need to come together. And I want you to have all of the information of why we did what we did, so that when you're living through this uncomfortableness, the last 2 weeks were rough, but believe me, they were rough for us too. But they're getting better every day. Every day we're seeing more and more and more improvements. And honestly, if we thought that we could have done any better, and you always look back and say, okay, we should have done this a little better. We should have done this a little better. We get it. We understand it. But to get us where we need to go and the timing of why we needed to do what we did, we're going to share with you a list of things so you know it's not just to make your lives miserable, but the future of where we're going. And Blake, I'm going to have you start with this on the first point. Why don't you do a couple? I'll do a couple. We'll go back and forth real quick. Sound good?
Yeah, it sounds great, Mark. So the first one is we had to take a private company or multiple private companies and we had to make them public, right? So that's all the crazy stuff that goes with that. That's the SEC stuff. That's the Sarbanes-Oxley compliance. That's the Europeans data protection stuff. That's number one. The second one is, you know, this is all super, super complex. So we needed one system for 70 markets that could house China and Japan, we need a system that could really manage all of that stuff, consolidated warehousing, multiple comp plans. We need to be compliant and take a private company public. And then the second one is, that's really complex to do.
Yeah. In addition to that, I'm going to add another one, and that was the secure the systems. Now, this is not something that you need to lose sleep about, because that's our job to make sure we're doing this. But if you've seen or heard recently in the news, and I hear it almost weekly, major corporations, we're talking multi-billion-dollar corporations, they get hit with what they call bot attacks, where they attack the systems and literally bring it to its knees for days upon time. And we had some experience in this in Oryx about a year and a half ago, where it was pretty painful for a little bit. And what we realized was our system had kind of been a patchwork quilt over the years, because every year you have it and you add things to it, you kind of add on to it. And sometimes the architecture gets like spaghetti, or I call it the patchwork quilt, because you've added little pieces to it and it still functions, but it's not as secure and solid as you would like it to. So we just did a major upgrade on our data security, which, Blake, I think the other day you were telling me we actually hired somebody to try and break in. They couldn't even get through the first level, which is, okay, it's phenomenal. If I'm bragging a little bit about IT, this is phenomenal to know they couldn't even get through this. Why is that important? Because that's data, that's our information, that's our security. And not only as a public company, but there are rules all over the world about how you're hosting data and what you're doing and the responsibilities. And so that was a key reason as well. Also backing up the systems with the redundancy and these other things. And so that's another big piece here of going through that. We had to have more stable systems because we had some downtime we were experiencing, some lag time. Sometimes we'd have big old specials and we were growing so fast, especially in Europe, that the system would start to lag and come down. And so again, we continued to do those things. Inventory management, all of these things we had to update. The ability to grow. Yes, it's true. We need us to not only grow and expand, and yes, we need it for acquisitions, but that everybody's like, well, you're only doing this for expansion of acquisitions. That is not the case. I want to make sure you understand that. We did this because this is a major upgrade for all of us to have better systems of where we're going. Like, you had a few more.
Let me show a graphic really quick, actually. Hold on a second. I was just on a team meeting. Let me show you guys something. This is kind of behind the scenes. So I know it's blurry, and you're not going to be able to read it, but every one of these points right here is a database or a server before we merged. And these all would have had to have been compliant, secured. They all housed your data on them. And think about this. If you have all these systems and then all of a sudden you want to put a new app in, or you want to do social selling, you're like, okay, well, we can get this to talk to this, to talk to that. It's just a mess, right? And that's kind of what drew us there, is everybody's like, look, I want to cross sell. I want to grow. I want to do social selling. This isn't how you go do that. This is how you go do that. Hundreds of servers, an environment that auto scales, that grows with the business, that's secure, so you don't have to worry about your data getting lost or stolen, right? We went from this and overnight, sorry, I know it's blurry, to this overnight. And I know, hey, Mark, there's been hiccups, right? I know there's hiccups. And I know the whole NewAge family is aware that we're affecting families, we're affecting income. It's a hard go. But the truth is, and there's more on this list we'll get back to, but the truth is, look, once a year I go on a really hard hike. And my brother-in-law always tells me the same thing. I'm a big guy. It's hard to get me up the mountain. And he says the same thing every time. He's like, look, the hardest hikes to the highest peaks have the best view. And today, as I was driving home, I was like, you know what? That's true. And this hike, it's hard. It's hard on all of us. But at the end, the view is amazing, right? So we did it because we're going to do social selling. It enables us to integrate with third parties quickly. It allows us to go to what's called a headless e-commerce system. So let's say somebody calls up, they're an amazing vendor, they have a technology we want to implement. We can now do that without having to go to 100 different systems. We go to one. It's right there, one. That API is fast, it's secure, it scales, it's amazing.
Yep. We also had to merge everybody together into one. So we weren't operating off two IT systems, two finance systems, two of these. we need to make sure we're doing everything we can to control our costs, because that's our responsibility. So we can control prices, we control costs and profitability of the company. That's a major thing. And many people are excited, not all, but many people are excited about the new potential coming up in Africa, or the potential in other markets. And they're saying, hey, I'd love to be down in these markets and participating. Well, we haven't had the ability until we merge this together. It's been kind of a rough go. This now gives us that capability to add the new social selling tools that are coming on, the new websites, the new pieces you're seeing, the onboarding tools, we didn't have the smart links for everybody. There was only one group. And so everybody wants to participate in these things. And that's the way you brought this all together. So we did something that's never been done before. No one in my history has ever said, we're going to not only take the compensation plans, we're not only going to take 70 markets, we're going to take 50 different languages, the different pay methods, all these things, and bring it together. Okay, was it a little crazy? Has it been a little wild for the last 2 weeks? It has, but I promise you, every day it's getting better. Our commitment to you is we will not stop until we do it. Now, if we've made mistakes, if we've missed something in a commission, if we've done anything to make your life miserable, first of all, we apologize, okay? It was not our intent. We didn't do this on purpose, but we knew it was important to get us to the next level. And the system is going to get better and better and better, and you're going to see the benefits of this as the weeks and months go by. And, if you're in this for the long term, like I am and everybody else in the business, this is one of those needed upgrades that's going to make us so much stronger as a company moving forward, to hit our goals, to accomplish the things we want to do, and to give us the information that you can't believe, because it was becoming more and more difficult to even get what we call business intelligence of reports and other things, because we had two different systems. And so all of that was needed. So thank you for being patient with us. We apologize. We'll go back. We're looking at every instance. We're even getting things now where people are going, well, if that's wrong, this must be wrong. We're even checking that out, because we want to make sure that we're taking care of these things for all of you. So I want to tell you how much I appreciate you as partners, and the right attitude and the right teamwork with us, because so many of you have reached out to us and told us, hey, what can I do to help? What can we do? And we're trying to communicate this to you because we love you and we appreciate you and we want you to be successful. But this was something that was the next little step that, thank goodness we don't do this every day. It's like my wife used to tell me giving birth. She said, during the moment, don't ask me if I ever want another kid, right? A year or two later, you go, well, that wasn't so bad. Now we're hoping that we don't have to have any more kids soon in this allegory here. So we're hoping this is a one and done, and we move on for quite a while. But every so often, having been here for a long time, you need to go through these system upgrades, and this is a major step in the right direction for all of us. So I just want to steal a little of your time and let you know that we're cognizant of it. We're aware that we've kind of turned your lives upside down for a few weeks. We appreciate that. The reports are going to get better. We're on top of these things. Keep just communicating. The best thing you can do is help people get their information, learn the new systems, learn how to use the new amazing websites and all these tools. But then also make sure if you see something that doesn't look right, work through with customer service, work through these other people, and they'll help you make sure we get this and we stay on top of it. So, and Rick, with that, I've got to bounce because I have a bunch of more of these calls tonight. So I apologize. And if any of you have any questions or anything, if you can't, Rick, myself, any of us are willing to interact and help you with it, because we really do care about it. And we appreciate you. It's time to really grow. It's time to really step on this and go forward. We have so many amazing products, and we've brought them all together now, and you have access to all of it. That's the beautiful thing here. I hope you realize is people are looking for building strong immune systems. People are looking for solutions. We should be growing like crazy, and don't let any of this get you down. Just move forward with it and say, well, I can grow during this time. I've seen people title advancing during this and saying, look, I want to show everybody this is the time to be doing it. Instead of holding back, let's move forward, because the company's never been better positioned. And I want you to know that. And things are great. Things are great here. We're just crazy busy, and we are so grateful that we have all of you. So, Rick, thank you for letting me take some time. And
you're welcome, Mark. Although I think it's really
you all sometime in the future when we can actually meet again more frequently, huh?
That's right. And Mark, I always think it's amusing. I got called on this because I used the pregnancy analogy before. I think it's amusing that men use the pregnancy analogy.
Oh, I do, because I'm a wuss. I'd never go through what they do. I have total respect for my wife and everything she did. I'm telling you right here, total respect. Nothing but but love and
Exactly.
adoration for that wonderful woman and 5 children that I have. So
Amen.
anyway, I cried like a baby.
And Blake, thank you for coming on tonight. I know how busy you and your team are. And if you're a part of the leadership of the company, meaning Partners Council and Founders Club, you know that you get a daily update. And Blake, I forward those daily updates that you send out to us, to all the leaders, so they know how much you and your team are accomplishing. It isn't necessarily whether you fall off the horse or get bucked off the horse. It's how you get right back on. You do what you need to do to correct the situation. So Blake, I know you and your team are doing a great job. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. We'll take care of you guys. I promise. Stick in there with us. This is great. This really is going to be an awesome thing. So thank you, Rick.
Yeah, you're welcome. Appreciate all you do. So with that, a couple of other things I just want to bring up before I turn it over to Craig. And good luck, Craig. You get to follow Mark. But I know also one of the frustrations. So let me acknowledge a couple of things. Blake said it, and I want to make sure that you hear it from me as well. And that is, we are very aware of the disruption that this is causing you as individuals, and that's my little granddaughter, you as individuals and your family, speaking of families. We know that this creates fear. We were very cognizant of that, and Blake said it very well. And as we were talking today, I want to assure you that he and his team in IT, our finance team, our project management team, our operations team, they know that this affects you individually and collectively and as families. And I think that's a really important thing to reiterate what Blake said. Sometimes I think we're looked at, especially when errors or frustrations or times like this where there's some pain, that people think that we're just sitting behind in our desks and we don't feel the same way you do. And granted, it's your paychecks, and this is in many of your cases livelihood, and we acknowledge that. Please understand that. Second of all, we know that there are lines on the customer service lines because of, I will tell you that centrally, Marinda, their Utah office has handled all of the foreign speaking markets. And as part of this transition, moving many of those responsibilities to those international markets, there's still a lag time. And so not only are we primary for all of the US calls, we're secondary for the Canadian calls, and you know that, but we're also secondary for German, French, Russian, and so on. So it does explain why right now there's a glut in the call center. Please forgive us for the lag time and the wait time. That will get better daily as we get more things fixed and as we move forward with more of these enhancements, like the app and other things that you'll be able to manage things better on your own and on the website. And also there'll be less demand on the call center. So please understand that. We know that it's frustrating. Use Dan, use myself, use anybody directly that you can. I've tried to help in the cases I can. So just wanted to add to that because, again, sometimes you wonder if we feel. And I hope you know that we do. So with that, I am going to, good luck, Craig. I'm going to turn this over to Craig Tomanini, Vice President. He has a transformation story, and I'm excited for you to kind of bring us home, my friend.
It's this is definitely going to be a challenging opportunity because first of all, I will follow Mark Wilson proudly, both as our leader in the company and, I got skills. I'm not too worried. Secondly, I want to thank Blake. I'm a 28-year IT veteran. I currently still work as a software tester. I feel your pain. I appreciate what you're doing. And I have to say, it's the first time in probably 15 years I've been excited about a software release. I'll just say that because it's directly tied to my success and everybody else that's involved. So I appreciate that and everything that everybody's doing. So yeah, my name is Craig Tomanini. For those that don't know me, I've been with, first with Limu, then with RX, and now with NewAge for about 5.5 years now. I love looking at pictures of myself, Rick. Thanks for that. I started in this crazy business for health. As you can see, I was 407 pounds just a couple of months prior to going to my first event and hearing about the products that ultimately brought me to this point. I was high blood pressure. My blood pressure was 193 over 176. My LDLs were in the upper 200s. for my cholesterol. I had severe migraines. I actually have a picture I found the other day of my left eye was completely filled with blood from the high blood pressure. So my eyes were beyond bloodshot. And I just, I needed a change. I needed a transformation in my life. The doctor told me when I went, she said, you're not going to make it to your next birthday. And I had 4 daughters at the time, a beautiful wife, and I had a son in utero. He was on the way. He was about 5 months away from being born. So I had everything to live for. And the doctor was telling me very plainly that I wasn't going to live. And so I needed to make this change. So trust me when I tell you, I wasn't looking to do this for a business. I've been very entrepreneurial my whole life. I've had several other businesses, but this wasn't the time I was looking for that. I was looking for something to save my life, to transform my health. And so I got into this business. I did what people told me that were before me in the business. I started using the products. About a month in, I lost 28 pounds of weight. So I knew that I was having a positive reaction to the products. So I stuck with it. And a couple things happened pretty immediately. People started to notice that I was losing the weight, of course, and they were asking how I did it. And I would start to just bring them to these events because I didn't know anything about the products or how they worked or anything like that. And even though I wasn't looking to make money in the business, they were looking to make money on the side somehow. And I had a couple friends jump in. And the next thing I knew, in that first month, I was making a few $100s a month extra income. And the side story to this is that, I've been working in IT all these years. And at that time, particularly almost 100 hours a week. And I know Blake can relate to it, especially when you have a release, it's weekends and overnights. And I was working at a company that had me going nonstop. And I was doing that because I was broke. We were in debt. My wife and I were a couple months behind on our mortgage. We had just had a vehicle repossessed. We weren't sure how to keep the lights on consistently. So I had all this financial stress going on, but in the foreground, I had all of this health challenge. And the two were really closely knit together. And I didn't realize it until I got into like my 6th month of this journey. And all of a sudden, I'm at almost 70 pounds of weight loss. I go away to a destination event. I submit my transformation story and I win $1,000 prize from the company because they were giving prize money out for the best transformations. And I left that event and I said, there's got to be more to this. And I remember on that flight home thinking to myself, there's something else here. And I went and I asked my wife, I said, what do you think about this? I said, I've been going at it for a few months now. We've made a few $100s here and there every month. And she said, if anybody can make it work, you can. And she's like, you should definitely go do more of that. You should definitely go get some more money. We can definitely use more money. And of course, your health is important. And I said, okay, well, I'll do it for 90 days. That's the language I heard at the event, was a 90-day run. First time I'd ever heard it. And I came home and I committed to 90 days. And in 88 days from that event, I got a phone call from corporate that my team had grown enough because they had shared with enough people that we were bringing in over 20,000 in volume per month. And that meant for me being able to afford a car payment. It meant for me, for the first time in years, not worrying about where my mortgage payment was going to come from, that I was going to have a way to take that stress off of our family financially. And at the same time, 13 months in, I'm up to 135 pounds of loss. And I don't say that lightly, but 135 pounds of loss. And as I continued the journey, the company came back because they care so much about our health. They were like, we're going to do a weight loss challenge and we're going to give you some free product because we want you to be healthy. And I got chosen to do that. And I lost more weight. So I'm here before you, 161 pounds and holding of released weight, a human, and more than a human in some cases. And my blood work has been on point for years now. My cholesterol is back in normal ranges. My blood pressure, I just went for a chiropractic visit the other day, 124 over 82. Normal, all the way across the board. So the thing that I really want to echo what Meredith shared too. I mean, that's all on point. I've learned more from a personal growth and development standpoint than I ever thought I would have doing this. It has become a business for me. Financially, my wife and I have also had a transformation. We've paid off over $250,000 in debt. in
Wow.
5 years. So, I mean, if you're watching this, if you're in the business now, no matter where you're at, if you're just starting out, or maybe you've been doing it for a bunch of years, and like Meredith said, you know, you can see what other people are doing, and you can either choose to just compare yourself and feel like you're not going to get it, or you can just buckle down and you can go after it. I'm telling you, it's possible to do that. And I'm proof of that all the way across the board. Product of the product of the industry. I am absolutely 100% on board with this, and God willing, this will be my full-time focus very, very soon. And I am having those conversations with my wife right now. So thanks for letting me share, Rick. It's always awesome to be on these calls. Dan, if you watch this later on, thanks for calling me and getting me on. I really appreciate the opportunity to share.
Yeah, Craig, you're awesome. Thank you so much. And wow, it reminds me of the line from Men in Black where he says, if you were half the man I am, and he says, what do you mean? I am half the man.
Half the man.
Which you are now, which is awesome. But not only that, but watching your transformation just since I've gotten to know you in the last couple of years. Wow, just fantastic. Thank you, Craig.
Absolutely.
And Meredith, thank you for being on and getting us started. Mark, Blake, it was awesome. Anthony, Ashley, for your participation. I just have a little visitor I thought I would share with you. This is one of my granddaughters. This is Sloan. Hi, Sloan. Can you wave? Hi, baby. She's a little shy. Hi, baby. Anyway, so I also want to thank Anthony and Ashley for helping out and unmuting the lines. That's a big help. And remember, next week, double recognition. And guess who else is going to be on? Deanna. So, right? So load up the call now, and I will end on my quote as I always do. And I love this one. No one can really predict to what heights you might soar. Even you will not know until you spread your wings. With that, I'll stop the recording.